Hi, I'm very pleased to be with you today. I hope you and your loved ones are as well as you can be in this strange situation that we find ourselves in. Obviously, we're all having to spend a lot of time at home. Can be tough. So we thought we'd come up with some pairings, not necessarily Michelin star pairings, but food pairings that can go with some of the Montecillo wines, so you can enjoy them at home, because I think everyone will agree that sitting down with a glass of wine and something to nibble on at the end of a day is a great way to disconnect from the screens and to have a bit of structure and say, okay, working day's over, I'm going to relax now. So what we're going to be tasting today is Montecillo Crianza. Montecillo is one of the oldest wineries. It's the third oldest winery in Rioja. They're actually celebrating their 150th anniversary this year. And I think that you can see their experience really comes through in this Crianza. This oak aged, they're specialists in oak aged wines, and this for me is a really classic Crianza. What does Crianza mean? Crianza is a regulated term. It means that the wine has been aged for a minimum of 2 years in the winery, of which at least 12 months were in oak. But many Crianzas, and this one from Montecillo in particular, have been aged for much longer. It's actually been aged for 18 months in oak and then much longer in the winery. This is a 2016 vintage, so it's already 4 years old. What does that mean in terms of the wine? Well, oak adds certain flavours, complexity on the nose, certain flavours. This one's been aged in American oak, which adds notes of toasted coconut, really tasty caramel sort of aromas as well. It also, on the palate, helps smooth out any sort of rough edges that the younger wine might have had. So you get a very velvety texture, and I think that is a really great point for pairing this wine. Because when you're pairing food and wine, you want to make sure that you balance the flavour. So the intensity of the food is in line with the intensity of the wine. And the great thing about Rioja Crianza, and this one in particular, is that they can go with a great range of foods. Because the wine is so subtle, is so elegant in the mouth, it doesn't overpower flavours. And the pairing we're suggesting to go with Rioja Crianza is a classic pairing with Spanish ham. If you don't have Spanish ham, then other charcuterie, chorizo, lomo, I've got here as well. Why? There's a few reasons. So, number one, the flavour of a very good Spanish ham, so something like a Cinco Jotas, acorn-fed, 100% Iberian ham, is a very complex flavour. It also has a lot of savoury elements, so what the Japanese call umami. Now, umami is that kind of flavour you get in meats, in mushrooms as well, in miso, Marmite, if you're British like me, and it's a flavour that if you have it with a wine that's very tannic and very powerful, it can actually make the wine taste a bit bitter. So you need quite a subtle wine to pair with savoury flavours. And also, the other great thing about ham is that it has a high fat content, and it's also quite salty, though it has a very good ham, has a balance between that sort of sweetness and saltiness and the nuttiness that you get from the acorns that the pigs are fed on. They eat when they forage in the dehesa outside. So that goes really well with a subtly balanced wine like this one, where you have the acidities in line, the tannins are very soft and velvety, and that fat and salt in the mouth. Actually, fat and salt are great friends of wine. When you eat something that's salty or fatty, it actually makes the wine taste richer in the mouth, so it adds a bit of creaminess. So you've got those lovely complex flavours, you've got the elegant wine, and it all comes together really well. Now, other pairings with Rioja Crianza, lamb is a classic pairing. In the region, after they prune the vines, they use the cuttings to barbecue lamb chops, and that's an absolutely beautiful match with a little sprinkle of salt and a lovely rich fruit and a touch of oak of a wine like the Montecillo Crianza. Other pairings, well, if you look on the website, we've got a recipe there for a classic Riojan dish, which is potatoes with chorizo, another great dish that, again, it's got that fat, it's got the saltiness, it's got those complex flavours that go really well with this wine. If you want to buy any of the Montecillo wines, they're available on the online shop from Osborne. There's a link on in the bio. So, nothing less for me to say than enjoy your time at home as best you can, with great wines, and cheers.